Okay, today we're talking about the distributive method. So the distributive method basically tells us that we distribute or give out what's on the outside of a parentheses to everything on the inside. If you think about distribution and you wanted to draw it or think of an example, like when somebody distributes papers, you give them out to everybody. So when we're distributing, we are distributing a number that's on the outside of the parentheses. So you don't have to write this down, but let me just show you what I mean. So we've been talking all year that parentheses means times. So if I do 3 times 4, that's 12, right? The just parentheses means times. But if there was something else on the inside, right? If there's another number, you have to distribute this 3 to everything inside the parentheses. So we would have to multiply it by 4, and we would have to multiply it by 1. So 3 times 4 would be 12, 3 times 1 is 3, and it's a positive 3, so we're adding it. And then when it's numbers, we can just add them up. So 12 plus 3 is 15. Okay, so this is basically what we're learning today, and it may be a review for some of you. So let's get started. We're going to talk about the formal definition. Remember, you can pause this video if it's going too fast so that you can copy everything down on your note sheet. So the rule is that for any number, let's just say it's A, if you multiply that by something inside the parentheses, you have to multiply it by everything inside the parentheses. So A times B and an A times C. Now that could be a little bit confusing with the algebra part of it. So let's just look at some examples here, because I think that will help us to understand it a little bit better. So sometimes it's going to be all numbers. So if we look at number 1, we have a positive 3 being distributed, and it's going to be multiplied by a 2, a positive 2, and a positive 5. So 3 times 2, you can use your calculators, as 6. 3 times positive 5 is positive 15. And because these are numbers, we can add them up. 6 plus 15 is 21. Now, what happens if it's subtraction? That one looks a little bit different. So let's take a look at the one underneath, which is subtraction. Remember, you can pause this video if you need to. So for number 2, we have a positive 4 being distributed. So 4 times 9 is 36. Use your calculators if you need to. And a 4 times negative 7. Remember, the minus is now also negative. So 4 times negative 7 is negative 28. So we're going to write that as negative 28, which actually means minus 28. So 36 minus 28, because those are numbers, we can do them in our in our head or using our calculator, and we get 6. All right, so let's go move on. Let's do some algebra examples. So let's take a look at this first algebra example. It's an algebra example because we have a variable. So we're going to do the same thing though. We have a positive 5 being multiplied by everything inside. All right, so 5 times G, there's no number, so we know to put a 1. So 5 times 1 is just 5, and then we put the G next to it. So we're just multiplying the numbers. Now we have 5 times negative 9. 5 times negative 9 is negative 45. So we're going to write it as negative 45, but it looks like minus 45. They mean the same thing. All right, now let's take a look here at this one. This one's a little bit more complicated. We have a couple things. We have 3 things we need to multiply by, but all we're going to do is exactly the same thing. We're just going to multiply. So we have a positive 3. Let me change my color here. We have a positive 3 being multiplied in. So we just have to multiply it by 3 things. So 3 times 2 is 6, and we're going to leave our variable the same, x squared. Now we have 3 times a positive 4 plus 4. So 3 times positive 4 is positive 12. We write plus 12x. And then we have a 3 times negative 1. 3 times negative 1 is negative 3. So we write it as minus 3. Now, this is the method I prefer, but there's another method you could use if it makes more sense to you. What you would do is you would draw a box. So you would draw a like a table, you do a box for every term on the inside. So since this has an X and a 3, 2 terms, we have 2 boxes. And I'm going to put the number on the outside here, and I'm going to put the X plus 3 up here. And then what I do, it's kind of like science in a Punnett square. We're going to multiply what's on the outside. So 4 times X is 4X. 4 times 3 is positive 12. And so our answer then is inside our box. All right, let's look at that again at a different one. So we have 3 terms now. So I'm going to have 3 boxes. The number I'm multiplying by goes on the outside, and the inside the in parentheses is going to go here on the top, plus 4X and a minus 1. So this helps me to just organize my multiplying. So 3 times 2 is 6X squared. It's going to go in here. 3 times 4 is 12X. And 3 times negative 1 is negative 3. So I know if I don't see a sign, that means it's positive. Oops, this was X squared. So when I write it down here, 6X squared plus 12X minus 3. Now, either method works. Either method is fine, whichever method you prefer. I want to show you one more example because you might see this on your practice. You don't need to write this down if you don't want to, but if you want to write it down, maybe at the bottom, you could do that. So let's go here. What if our number on the outside is negative? So what if I have negative 5 times 2X minus 2? All right, so I have a negative 5 on the outside. It doesn't change what I'm doing. It's just the sign is different. So negative 5 times 2 is negative 10X. And negative 5 times negative 2 is a positive 10. So I write plus 10. So doing that is no different. All right. So what I would like you to do, we are not going to do the application today. We will work on that tomorrow. So the box that says application, we're going to work on that when I see you next Thursday, because tomorrow is actually medieval times. What I would like you to do is pause the video, and I want you to try all of these. When you're done, you can turn the video on, and I'm going to just show you the answers. All right. So go ahead and pause the video and give them a try. All right, now that you're done, I'm going to just quickly go through these problems. So we have to multiply. 6 times 12 is 72. 6 times negative 2 is minus 12. So 72 minus 12 is 60. Did you get it right? Did you find a good mistake? Remember, fix your mistakes if you made them. Let's go over here to number 2. Positive 2 times 4 and a t. 2 times 4 is 8. 2 times, there's no number here, so I'm going to put a 1. So 2 times 1 is plus 2t. All right, number 3, we have a positive 4. So 4 times 3 is 12g. 4 times a positive 2 is positive 8. And then the last one, we have this positive 3. We have to multiply it by 3 terms. So 3 times 5 is 15x squared. 3 times negative 4 is negative 12x. And 3 times positive 1 is positive 3. Okay, so today you're going to do some practice on this. Practice, get as many done as you can. The answer key is on your Canvas page to check as you go. And then when you're done, you're going to be turning this in to the guest teacher for today. Your homework for tonight is 3 delta problems. Don't forget, maximum 20 minutes. All right, I hope you have a good day.